We are into an interesting film. It's sort of regarded as the black sheep of the Bond franchise, and we are going to be talking about On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was the one and only film that George Lazenby played Bond in his career.
So we're in the 60s. The 60s is where Bond comes from, in my opinion. I'm
Yep.
one of those Bond fans who really sees Bond as a creature of the 60s. And obviously that means Connery for the most part. But as you say, there's this one teensy weensy outlier, and that is On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
But I think calling it the black sheep is harsh because I think this is a really good Bond movie, and
It is
I
a
think
very
there are a
good
lot
Bond
of
movie.
films in the franchise that could be considered much worse black sheep films that really, even though they're made by established Bonds, that just don't fit. I think View to a Kill is much more of a black sheep because even though it's the seventh Roger Moore movie, it feels so like out of place. It's like he's too old to begin the training, and he's too the film is crap, and it just doesn't work for me.
It doesn't really work. No.
Whereas On Her Majesty's Secret Service, for the most part, with some glaring exceptions, does. There are some, and I think we should talk about the exceptions, but I think a lot of people, and I know I was in this camp before I rewatched it a couple of years ago, think this film is crap because they think Lazenby is crap, and we have to agree, Lazenby is not a good actor. That doesn't mean he's a bad Bond, but he's not a good actor.
No, I think Lazenby is an interesting. I don't know. It was a very interesting choice because he was very young. He was like in his late 20s when he managed to sort of con his way into the role once Connery.
Did he con his way though? I feel like they just found him.
Well, I don't know. I was watching the documentary Everything or Nothing, which
good. Yeah.
Which is actually really worth watching. And he was talking about how it was just after Sean Connery had just done You Only Live Twice, and he was like, I'm done, goodbye. And then he came back for Diamonds Are Forever, and then he did Never Say Never Again. And then George Lazenby, he found out where Sean Connery got his suits, and he basically went up to the production officers and said oh, I'm here for a meeting with Cubby Broccoli and Harry Zaltzman, and they were like, oh sure, we'll wait your turn and all that sort of stuff. And then he managed to break his way into the office, and the way George Lazenby described it is I hear you're looking for a new Bond, and here I am, kind of thing. And then they sort of thought,
really,
yeah, well, I guess you're hired and stuff like that. And then he was.
I mean, this is George Lazenby's version of the story. What's the other? I mean,
this
isn't
is
the other one that he was in an advert and
this is George Lazenby's version of the story, yeah.
Because he was in some Australian advert where he's carrying because he's Australian, and he was in some advert where he's carrying a big crate around. He's big, tall, and muscly. And didn't they think oh, he's, But I mean, anyway, before I just want to say I think people look at this film and they see Lazenby and they're like, well, he's only in one movie, so it must be a crap movie. It's well, actually, he is a complicated Bond, but the film is good. He's not a proper actor.
No,
not a proper gentleman. He's a model. He's a male model. In all, sorry, I'm getting ringtones keep going off here.
He's not an actor. Cling.
Yeah, correct. And that has been largely, borne out by the rest of his career, which is non-existent for the most part. He does, weirdly enough, show up in the Gettysburg movie that Ted Turner produced, but
Yeah, I think he didn't exactly. I mean, his career started and ended very quickly but I think that's to do with his own fault, in some regards, because at the premiere of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, he basically came. His hair had grown out. He had a beard and everything. It wasn't what they wanted.
He came as Pierce Brosnan at the beginning of Die Another Day,
basically, yeah. And he met an agent and he said, you shouldn't do another Bond. I know that you've got a deal to do more Bond films, but you shouldn't do it because Bond's not going to survive outside of the 60s. And he listened to that agent.
How wrong you were.
He was very wrong, whoever that man was.
I happen to know that.
But George
He's very much.
Lazenby, in some regards, he was a hippie, and he talked a lot. I mean, if you listen to him in interviews, he talks a lot about how many people he had sex with when he was, James Bond and stuff. And it's a bit like,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
he's
I mean, they all. I mean, let's be honest. Connery wasn't exactly like a missionary when he.
No, he was
a
not.
missionary. What do I mean? A monk. A monk. Lazenby is, I feel like, a misguided and not very bright individual.
No.
You look at his performance, and there's not a lot going on. Like, he has that Ronald Reagan kind of like hit in the head with a shovel kind of look.
Yeah, there's not there's not a lot going under the surface, even though he's supposed to be like,
No.
even though if he's like having sort of like a blank expression, there doesn't really seem to be much happening underneath. Even though if you see some actors, I mean, I recently watched Wind River with Jeremy Renner. I know this is it's a different kind of movie, but you can, even though the moments where he's just speaking very neutral and his face is like very still, you can really tell that there's a lot of emotion happening under the surface. There's a lot happening under that. And I think with Lazenby in some scenes, there really isn't any of that. And I don't think he was able to really kind of emote this kind of what he didn't really bring what Sean Connery brought to the role. This sense that this is a dangerous, broken, guy in some ways.
Right, but I think because the whole Bond character in the 60s grows out of the strong silent type kind of hero of the 40s and 50s. You're talking people like Bogart and Mitchum, and obviously there's a dash of Cary Grant in there because he makes jokes and stuff, but like you never saw like Cary Grant or Bogart or Spencer Tracy or anyone like that, Clark Gable, have like a big moment where they're they don't have that James Dean like "You're tearing me apart" kind of big like shouting at the screen, like they just drank and they like kept it inside. But you do see it, you do see the emotions under the surfaces, and because the people I mentioned were all intelligent men who oftentimes had a lot of baggage and stuff, they were able to bring that to their characters. But I feel like and I think Connery has a bit of that too. Like Connery's a very like, there's something very sensual and very passionate about Connery, and we can get to that when we talk about him. But like it's just like, Lazenby is kind of blank. He is he feels like someone was asked to draw a James Bond, and they did, like when they do the storyboards, like he looks like the storyboard version of James Bond. He's very handsome. He's perfectly tailored. I mean, really well costumed in this film. But it's like every time they ask him to do anything that is more than, walk, run, and he can't really even do the like action stuff properly. He feels a little bit clumsy compared to Connery, who really feels like he would, throw you through a plate glass window if you, said something bad about Scotland.
I mean, he's not exactly physically imposing or anything like that. He doesn't exactly seem like a
but he looks good on a pair of skis, or at least a stunt double does. So but he does. There's one moment in the film where he has to deliver, and that's the last line, and he actually manages somehow to give us a satisfactory, when he's cradling the dead Tracy.
Yes,
he actually manages to do it properly. And I think that's a scene that Connery would have had trouble with, and I think that's a scene that Roger Moore would have had trouble with, because like, she's only resting, she had a little bit too much of cognac, if you know what I mean. It's just like, he'd make a joke about it.
We had all the time in the world.
We had all the time in the world, and we spent it drinking. Our
wedding was good, but this is shit.
But now I have to return the deposit on the wedding. No, look.
Imagine if like Dalton did that.
Dalton would have been perfect for this. Dalton would have been absolutely the perfect Bond for this movie. Bond meets, he starts off, he's happy-go-lucky, and then he meets and he's headstrong, and he meets this girl, and she changes his life, and then it like destroys him at the end. And then you could have had, it would have been great. It's like, I'm out for revenge.
Things are about to
Where's
get nasty.
Blofeld?
It seems a bit of a shame, even with the ending of that film, they didn't really continue on from that. They never really, I mean, even you get a sense that Bond is out for revenge and Diamonds Are Forever, but they never really carried on that plot point and stuff.
Like, I have no wife.
And stuff like that. Like, where's Blofeld? Why do you want to kill him and stuff? Like, hit me. and stuff. But
No, the only time they really genuinely come back to this is in the Dalton era with License
yeah,
to Kill, which he said he was married, but it was a long time ago.
or
Um,
in For Your Eyes Only with the gravestone.
yeah, but that's I feel like that doesn't really get like it feels like part of the character in License to Kill. Like that's why License to Kill I think is such a good Bond movie because it's really so character driven. Um, I want to talk about some of the stuff that's really good about this film.
Yeah, the ski chase is great.
Skiing,
I was just about to get
skiing.
I was just about to get onto the ski chase. I think the ski chase is very exciting, and I think with the John Barry music, I think
Wait a
it's
second.
really good.
You've opened up a couple of streams here
Yeah,
because I want to talk about the music as well. But let me just say, it's not just the ski chase;
yeah,
it's also the alpine setting. Like
yes,
they just touched on it in Goldfinger, but then we go away very quickly. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to ski. I was so, I mean, I was really entranced the first time I watched this film by the whole idea of like, of course, Bond makes so much sense in this like alpine like locale, even before he puts on a pair of skis and starts evading the bad guys, which is very cool.
hmm
It just makes so much sense to put him up in the snow among all the glamour and the like luxury hotels and that sort of old European style that there is there. You know, it's so like of its time. It's so kind of fitting. And they keep returning to it. Of course, you know, you get that in The Spy Who Loved Me, and there's skiing in For Your Eyes Only. There's skiing
World is not
even in
enough.
the Brosnan era. Yeah, right. I mean, so I think it's really really successful in that, you know, we've had all these films which have a very definite sense of like this film is taking place in Jamaica, this one takes place in Istanbul, this one takes place, you know, etc., Japan, you know,
Hmm
and now it's like we're going to the Alps, and I love it,
Yeah,
and yeah, and then so I feel like we're spending too long on this, but like the music, that this is one of the best Bond films for music in my opinion.
yeah, the music is so good, especially the use of the Louis Armstrong song and the way that it's used in all the romantic scenes. It's really, really
Yeah,
beautiful. Like all the really like silent scenes with, you know, Tracy slowly falling in love with Bond, and I mean Diana Rigg just as well. Rest in peace. She's really really good in this film, and I think her presence is just amazing. I think she's, you know, you see that
yeah.
her sort of style of acting and her sort of that
Well,
kind
she's
of
a proper. I mean, if you don't
yeah,
have you, they did not cast a proper actor as James Bond, but they cast a proper actress as
yes,
Tracy. But um, just on the music, like the alliance between John Barry on the one hand and Louis Armstrong is so perfect because the
mm,
arrangement of that song is so full of like that Barry Bond touch. And it's also sad because it is one of the last songs that Louis Armstrong ever recorded.
is that true?
It's
I
a
didn't know
very
that.
poignant. It's a very poignant song and beautifully used. And then though the theme, the instrumental theme for the movie is so fucking
Mm,
cool. It is so like Bond at the height of its like the franchise's confidence, like
yeah,
60s. It's sort of got this um orchestral kind of dynamism. It seems to like evoke the whole thing of like going fast on skis, perhaps, you know. It's
mm,
really fun. John Barry is at his very best in this. I mean, and he's off the back of like some seriously good scores as well at this point when you think about what he's done for um the previous Bond films. I think You Only Live Twice is really good.
yeah.
Thunderball, but especially Goldfinger, let's be honest. But he's
Goldfinger
also
music is good.
at this point he's also done the music for the Ipcris File with Michael Caine, which is a really good score as well. So he's just ripping up trees at this point.
Mm.
And but yeah, Diana Rigg, fan fucking tastic.
She's just really fierce. She has that kind of fierceness that, you know, plays into like her performance in something like Theatre of Blood with Vincent Price, or even something a bit more contemporary, you know, Lady Olenna in Game of Thrones. You know,
Well, she's just oozes class. I
she
mean,
does.
and that's good because she's supposed to be playing
Countess.
not an aristocrat, but you know, someone who's been raised with money.
Yeah.
And
But that
and
scene,
by the way, speaking of costuming, her costumes in this are so good. Like
yeah.
the one where she turns up with to the bullfight wearing that amazing riding outfit. There's that famous dressing gown, of course.
Mm. But that scene when she has the gun on Bond in the hotel room where when she says, "Suppose I kill you for a thrill," I think that scene they actually use that for auditions. They use that scene.
Well, they use that, and they use the they use that to audition Bond girls.
No, they use that to audition Bond actors.
Really? I always thought they used the one from Russia with Love.
No, I think it's that scene. I think they use that scene. If you've seen like,
But no, hang on a minute, because there's a screen test with Sam Neill where they
yeah,
use the From Russia with Love one, isn't there?
no, that I think that's the on Her Majesty's Secret Service scene. I think they use that scene. Yeah,
We will have to fact check this, ladies and gentlemen.
we can bring it up on the You Only Live Twice episode.
Yeah, exactly. I think we will.
Who was right and who was wrong.
I think you are. I think you might be right, but also wrong at the same time, because I think they probably use a couple of different ones. But I know yeah, that's good. I know for a fact that they use the From Russia with Love one. But I don't know if they use this one as well. In any case,
a lot of bedroom
it's
scenes
good
for auditions. Strangely enough.
Well, it is the Bond franchise, and easy to do on a screen test. It's not like, okay, we're going to do the cliff jump scene. Are you ready? No.
Perfect. Did he sign the waiver that if he gets injured, we have no responsibility of it? No. Damn.
Yeah. So that was distracting. So yeah, we've got a really good Bond girl, even if we don't have a good Bond. And I love her entrance, where she skis up to him when he's evading the bad guys, and he's all like hopeless and desperate, and then she just is there in this incredible outfit. I mean, it's very romantic as well. I mean, I genuinely really enjoy watching this Bond movie. Bad guys.
Telly Savalas.
Yeah,
Bojack.
Telly Savalas is if you can't get Donald Pleasance back, you may as well just get Telly Savalas. He's very fun in this.
I think they considered having Donald Pleasance coming back, but then they realized that maybe he was a bit too old to do all the physical stuff, like the skiing and everything like that.
Yeah, it's interesting that they pivot to make Blofeld more of an action star, and I think a more intelligent use of Blofeld would have been to keep Pleasance and to make Telly Savalas, like keep Pleasance in the background and make Telly Savalas some like a number two kind of guy, who's more. But the problem then is you have to pay to, big name actors. So I get that. But he is, he Blofeld, he's been working out for a couple of years and he's ready to get on those skis, and he smokes cigarettes in a funny way where he holds them all weird.
Yeah, he's got like some cigarette holder or something like that. I have no idea.
It's very, and they're sort of like straight up or something. It's very odd. That's always very distracting. His costumes are very like parody of a Bond villain kind of thing. There's a lot of
but he really it's quite hard to watch that movie and not see him as Dr. Evil, because it's literally Mike Myers as Dr. Evil in that film. There's a lot of
that. Well, I mean, and some of the Lazenby stuff as well is very Austin Powersy.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the bad guy that really stays with you, well, the bad girl that really stays with you in this is Irma Bunt.
Yeah, played by Ilse Steppert. And this was I think this was actually her last film. This was her final film.
Really?
Yeah, I think she passed away in December in 1969.
Shit. Because she was so good in this. I mean, talk about like everyone. I think she gets forgotten a bit because people think about Lotte Lenya in From Russia with Love.
Rosa Klebb.
But but she's tremendous. She has some great moments, and obviously she kills Tracy at the end.
I know. I mean, Blofeld's driving the car, and she's the one firing the gun. So what happened to her?
Yeah, she's one of the Manson girls, essentially. It's such a shame that they didn't just film the next one right away and just finish the Blofeld story, bring back Telly Savalas, bring back Bunt, bring back Lazenby, and just do it. I mean, it's like to follow this up with Diamonds Are Forever is such a travesty.
Yeah, I think it was,
and obviously you couldn't bring back. I mean, I didn't realize that Miss Steppert had passed away, but I mean, she's such a great villain, and so is Blofeld, and I do think it's interesting that the plot for world domination fails, but the bad guys get away with it.
Yeah, it's sort of like
which is a nicely kind of pessimistic message that is sort of interesting to unpack. They probably didn't mean that very much by it, but it's sort of interesting in our current world to see that played out.
Yeah.
But Anyway, I feel like we've talked about this a long time, but I think the message here is go watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service again. You'll be pleasantly surprised. We haven't even talked surprised. I can't talk today. Surprised. We have to. I think honorable mention for Gabriele Fazzetti as Draco.
Oh, he's a great character. I like him.
Yeah, and a brilliant actor. You'll recognize him, people, from Once Upon a Time in the West, and a host of other movies. So, should we do our fun bits?
Yeah. Where would you want to go on? I can't talk today either. Where would you want to go on holiday in this movie?
Well, you've got some fucking choices in this, but I haven't been skiing for ages, so I am going to the Alps. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I figured you were going to say that. I'm going to go to the casino where, in the movie. That looks like a nice little...
Where is that one again?
I think it's Monaco or Monte Carlo or one of those places.
Isn't it? Don't they go to Corsica at one point?
Maybe. Well, maybe they go to...
Let's have a look. Locations. Dum, 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 dum. Well,
they went to Portugal as well. They shot a bit of there.
But was it actually set in Portugal?
I think maybe they just. I think they. I can't remember if it takes place in Portugal or something like that.
This is probably quite boring to listen to.
Well, I'll just say I'm going to go to the sunny part of the film.
You're going to go to the sunny part of the film. I'm going to go to the snowy part of the film. Okay, that's good.
Exactly. Got that out of the way.
Okay, what is the stupidest bit?
Stupidest bit. James Bond in a kilt.
Okay. My stupidest bit is at the beginning where he turns to the camera and he says...
The other guy didn't have a problem with this.
Well, no, he said, this never happened to the other fella.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the line. This never happened to the other fella.
Which is, he breaks the fourth wall in a Bond film.
But in the MI6, he goes to his office and then there are all these like little... Easter eggs from the other films, like the
not an Easter egg if it's like in his drawer. It's like an Easter egg if it's on the shelf in the background. This is an ostrich egg.
It's like all over the place, and they'd have like little music cues for all the movies and stuff, which I thought was quite.
What is it? Doesn't he have like Oddjob's hat or something? And why does he have Red Grant's watch? I mean, this is like all of these. You know that these things got like blown up. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a bit strange and stuff.
He didn't pick up any of these things. You don't see Connery being like, I'm going to keep this as a souvenir.
Like he picks up the watch before getting off the train and thinking like...
Also, isn't one of the things he has in his drawer Ursula Andress's bikini?
I can't remember.
Or the knife. It's the knife holster she has. But like still like weird.
Bit.
So anyway, I think that's stupid. I think the whole like breaking the fourth wall and the whole trying to be like, look, it's just like Connery, except it's not Connery. It's like when they get that right with Roger Moore.
Australian Bond.
Yeah,
they get another Scots person, so we got him.
Right, and in the Roger Moore one, they pretend that like he's completely new. There's no like previous anything. They don't refer to. They don't even have Q in the first. Live and let die, for God's sake.
Is he in? I can't remember if he's in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh yeah, he is. He's there.
He's briefly,
and he's there at the end. At the wedding with Moneypenny crying. And Bernard Lee is there. I know it's all the furniture of a traditional Bond movie is in this. It's just that in the middle is this turkey of a Bond. Okay, what's the best bit?
Best bit. I think it's the ski chase. It's got to be the ski chase.
Damn. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, fine. I will say then the scenes of Bond and Tracy falling in love to Louis Armstrong, because it's so unusual for a Bond film and it actually really works. And it's I love it. Actually, the other thing I would nominate as a best bit, and it is just one moment, is where she shows up on the ice skates.
Yeah.
In front of him at that thing. That is like, that always makes my heart sore. So that would be my best bit. Just in memoriam for Diana Rigg, as a tribute to her. That is a great screen entrance.
That is a great moment. I mean, should we talk about who would you replace?
I don't know. Okay, well, how about this? Okay. How about this? You have to keep Lazenby.
Yes.
You're not allowed to replace Lazenby.
No. Okay. That's a good. Oh, that's gonna be tough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if it would have been quite funny, I would have maybe replaced Telly Savalas with Adam West.
What? Oh,
I'm gonna kill you, Bond.
struggling in pain. I like that. I like the
Because it's
Adam
keeping it in
West.
the 60s, and also Batman was quite popular on TV at the time. They did actually think about having Adam West as Bond, but then he said, keep it British. Oh.
Keep it British, you fools.
Damn it,
Who would
man.
I replace? You could have a lot of fun with this. I would do Samuel Jackson as M. Just chew on that for a little bit. I feel like that is well, he basically plays M in that thriller with Vin Diesel, Triple X.
Oh, yeah, Triple X, yeah.
So I think Jackson could do it.
Nice. Interesting choice. Yeah, that would, it would be interesting to see how. I mean, yeah, he's never been in a Bond movie. Yeah, we've had Michael Manson in a Bond movie, but we haven't.
It's like I never asked this before. So what does M stand for? It stands for motherfucker.
Oh,
Why he used to be M, now he's BMF. Why is that?
You don't ask.
Yeah.
For some reason, he has a purple
replaced-
lightsaber in his golf bag or something.
We've ruined the casting of this film. What other things we do? We have
How
to
many
just rate
martinis?
it.
How many martinis would you give this?
I'm giving it 4 martinis.
Yeah, me too. 4 martinis. It's a good, solid film. Some little problematic casting choices with Lazenby, but I think all in all, it's not as bad as people say, and I think people should give it a chance.
There is a big group of people now who are considering this. I feel like the era of most people hate this film is over. I think that was when people hadn't seen it. Now, when it's more freely available, I think you'll find a lot of people on the Bond web like, and justifiably so, this movie. So
I think like
if you are in that camp of I'm not sure about On Her Majesty's Secret Service, watch it. You'll be very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
surprised.
Surprised. Yeah, it's
Surprise, 007.
Yeah, bonjour, Monsieur Bond.
Yeah, well, I'm also sad that we're moving towards the end of the.
Yeah,
we're moving towards the beginning, which is the end for us. So let's savor it while it lasts.
Yeah, looking forward to actually seeing No Time to Die and actually being able to talk about the movie. That I just want to see it.